Hello! This summer, as Code Labs interns, we worked on Charity Radar, a charity review website. My name is Samika Karthik.
Hi, I'm Michelle Lee.
Our mentor for this project was Benjamin Lin.
During our tech talk, we'll be going over a summary of our project, its features, what we used to program it, and our progress of how we did it over the course of 4 weeks. From there, we'll finish up with the lessons we learned from our time together during this life-changing program, as well as where we would like to take our project in the future.
Our idea stems from the concept of creating a review website. We decided to create a charity review website due to the necessity of transparency and clarity around charities, nonprofits, and grassroots organizations.
Our team created a full-stack web application that helps people leave honest reviews on charities. Our homepage consists of a search engine where charities can be filtered based on name, location, type, or even currently trending charities. Each charity has its own page full of information that can be helpful for prospective contributors. This includes mission statement, contacts, review average, and of course, the individual reviews. We also have a page where people can add, delete, or edit charity information. This will be open to verified officials. Together, our site can allow people to have a better sense of the charity's impacts and make more informed decisions.
So some of the features we wanted were the ability to leave a review, search charities, and edit or add charities. In this diagram, you can see how our website was laid out. As you can see, there is a homepage that is filled with different ways to select and find charities, and the charities on that page link to charity reviews for each of those charities. Furthermore, on that same page, there is a link where you will be able to insert, delete, or update charities in our database.
At the beginning, we used Figma to fully plan out how we wanted our site to look. From there, we used a combination of React and Node.js for our full-stack web application to come to life. In week 1, we focused mainly on layout with Figma and React. Week 2 was a transition to full-on React as we added interactive parts of the site with more JavaScript. Then in week 3, we constructed our database with Node.js and created a REST API. Finally, in week 4, we tied everything together, connected front end, back end well, and finalized our site.
Week 1.
Starting from week 1, we worked carefully with designing our user interface with Figma. This allowed us to get a preview of what we wanted our sites to look like and features we were sure we wanted. For the reviews page, I knew that this was going to be specific to each individual charity. Therefore, I planned out what charity information I thought would be useful for users. This includes logo, name, specific fields the charities works in, such as STEM or education, as well as the contact information. As for the review side of things, I did some research and took inspiration from many different sites. For example, Amazon, Goodreads, Yelp, etc. I decided that the key components will be displaying the reviews along with the names and star amounts, the rating bars, average star amounts, both the number and star display, number of reviews, and a place to write the reviews. As our main focus for this week was layout, I then used HTML and CSS and started learning JavaScript in order to get the layout of our site done. With the help of our mentor, Ben, we learned about the React components. It was a great way to kick off our internship.
As Michelle stated, we first used Figma to plan out our website. Using this, I created a design prototype that divided the page into 3 sections. One section where the person could search charities in our charity database, the second section showing trending charities, and the third section allowing for users to select types of charities they were interested in and being able to find charities based on that type. In the same week, I moved from Figma to actually coding the front page. Here I used HTML and CSS. And this is what it looked like at the end of the first week. Week 2.
Week 2 was where the site started coming to life. Combining the use of objects and React's use state, the interactive review section was created. This allowed for a name and a review to be stored inside the user object list, where it could be displayed in the review section of the page. As you can see from the code segment, I used the map function and wrapped the displayable products in paragraphs and React fragments. I also imported the CSS style sheets to get the star icons as well as the rating bars onto the site. The end result of week 2 was amazing as we already had an MVP for display.
In week 2, I started to implement JavaScript functions so we could have some functionality and was able to implement the basic search functionality that went through name, tags, description, and location to find charities similar or equivalent to the search that the user had inputted. And here is the function that I used to look through the user search and find similar or the exact charity. Week 3.
This week, the reviews page front end was to get the rating bars and star inputs working, and we managed to do that. We used the Material UI library to import the linear progress icons. As shown in the demo, the sidebars are now responsive for inputs. For a more code-focused approach at this page, we created a total variable for the length of the user object list, which, as you may remember, was where we stored each of the reviews. We then created an array called user ratings, which just took the rating amount from each review in user object list. Finally, rating counts held the amount of each star rating. Using that logic, we looped through each user rating value. Using the switch function, we determined which case they were. Some parts of the code is cut off, but the gist of the idea is there. For example, the rating counts at index 0 held how many reviews had a 1 star. Then we reversed the list when displaying. As for star input, we created our own React component to specify how we wanted the stars to be displayed. That component reads that if filled, display the imported star icon that filled yellow. If not, just a star border, which would be an empty star. Within the return part, we had 2 things happen each time a star was clicked. The click star function tracked how many stars were clicked and stored them into the user object list. Then, the amount was filled was set to the amount of stars chosen by the user, calling the component to display this in icons. Our final step of week 3 was to learn and create our backend. Using tutorials our mentor provided for us and Zoom meeting lessons, we were able to create backends that can perform the CRUD operations of REST API.
In week 3, I worked to create a more advanced search functionality and developed search functionality so that every time someone searched something, the image of the similar or exact charities would pop up. I also worked on the trending charity function where I used the variable reviews left in the last day to determine what charities showed up in the trending list and allowed for only 3 trending charities to show up. I also worked with the tag charity functions where the charities with those specific tags would pop up when selected. These are some of my functions. As you can see in this image, I searched up charity 1 and the charity popped up with its image. Additionally, you can see 3 trending charities pop up. Here you can see the different types of tags and the charities recommended based on what type of charity you selected. Furthermore, in this week, rather than having a database as part of the front end, I moved the database to the back end and fetched the data in our front end to get our database. Additionally, I started to work in Node.js with our post, get, push, and delete requests. Week 4.
As this was our final week, it was time to tie everything together with a neat bow. We learned how to use Fetch API to get data from our backend. Since the reviews page was a template page for each individual charity, Fetch APIs were especially useful as it allowed us to have different pages for each charity. In the code, we stored the window.location.pathname to a variable and split it based off of the slashes. This will give us a specific charity ID. Each charity comes with a unique ID in our database, and that's what we used to call these sites. However, we must keep in mind that there are many different reviews in the review database. So we loop through all the reviews to make sure they match the ID with the charity being called. That way, we are only displaying the reviews for this particular charity. Finally, here is the finished product for each individual charity. It shows all of the stars, average star rating, the amount of reviews, and how to add new reviews. All charity-related info is pulled from the backend and populated based off of which charity is being called. As you can see, now I'm changing the charity URL, and it calls a different charity. Very cool. From there, we also added a next page function in the user interface. I am so proud and grateful to be a part of this team and to have learned so much while making these pages.
In week 4, I worked on the Charity Radar database page, in which I allowed people to make changes to charities in terms of inserting, updating, and deleting charities. To my left, you see the page that allows users to make changes to our charities. This week, I also connected the charities on the front page to their reviews and tied up any loose ends. Finally, here is my front page. As you can see, I search up health and all health-related charities pop up, as well as trending charities pop up. And there's also the ability to select different types of charities and find charity recommendations based on those types. And the ability to find the reviews connected to those charities. So some lessons I learned. I guess the first lesson I learned was that there are so many resources out there, and it's up to us to go out and search for those resources. Being able to find resources is so incredibly important. I also think it's really important to, when you have all of these tasks, to be able to take it one step by one step, so that you can go through the entire process and it won't overwhelm you. Additionally, in coding, it's incredibly important to have persistence. There are times where your code will not work, and rather than give up, it's important to reach out for resources and push through.
For me, it has been an amazing internship, and I've learned many, many valuable lessons. On top of learning how to create our own full stack web application, time management, new coding languages, REST API, and Node.js, I've also learned how to focus on communication more. For example, this means that when in doubt, I should probably go ask, and that it's okay. I've also learned to value progress more than just spending hours over one small thing. And the most important thing I probably learned here is to always trust the rubber ducky. I spend so long on certain issues, whereas if I just talk it out and explain it to myself, things would have been so much easier, and I could spot like the small mistakes. All in all, it was a fantastic time, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity and to have learned and grow with such wonderful people.
So in terms of further work, so the first thing is different roles. We would like people to have different roles in the sense that charities can respond back by getting themselves verified, and that rather than being able to edit any charity, can only edit the one they belong to. Additionally, we would like to add more user functionality in the sense that users can message charities and other users regarding their questions and concerns. We would also be able to add a feature that allows users to donate through our site in the future.
We'd also like to improve the UI UX of our web design. It would be really nice if we can clean this up a lot and make it more enjoyable for all the users and have a neater user interface.
Here are credits for the templates of these slides. Thank you so much. We had such an amazing time and learned so much. Please feel free to contact us through email or through our LinkedIns. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.